Life can feel like a game, especially when depression and different personalities become a way to survive. For those who call themselves educated, here's the challenge. If you have ever had a loved one with mental illness, ask yourself this. Why has justice never been served in situations like this? Put on your investigation hat. Look at the story. Connect the pieces. Follow the clues. But this isn't only about justice. It's about you. Notice where you feel triggered. Notice what parts of this mirror your own life. Because this game, personal development, hidden in plain sight, the clues are everywhere. The question is, will you see them?
Hello and welcome to Elegantly Outrageous Rapid Mindset Therapy System. So this is actually an unconventional system to make you think. Today is May 6th, 2020. And I finally made it. I hit rock bottom. And it's exactly what I wanted. And a lot of people don't understand that. It's the most unconventional way of healing on the planet. Look at my body, it's shaking. I'm not faking, I'm not a fucking good actress. I have pretended to be. Because the truth is, I have been afraid of my own strength my whole life. Because I don't feel I deserve it. It's been kicked out of me. It's been Albert Einstein said, it's those who don't speak up, who don't do anything, who don't make a change, who don't respect other people, who live in ignorance and think that this world is all theirs, that just destroy lives. And you know what? My life does matter. So not only are we trying to mess with your head a little bit, we're trying to make you reflect on the images you see, the people you see, the triggers, the targets, everything. So this is completely different to anything that's out there on the market for very specific reasons.
I was definitely always a person that felt guilty if I wasn't working. Have this thing in me that if I'm not working, I feel guilty. And I think the hardest thing in building a company and going through a depression at the same time and losing everything in my life wrongfully was understanding that my healing is part of my work. My breaks is part of the responsibility that I have to take on to do, because that's what I have to teach others to do. We're going to talk about a strategy to help you process difficult emotions. Something called RAIN. So full disclosure, where I get a lot of my stuff from, and I make it my own. There is no copy, and I go from a guide, and I always give reference to where it goes, right? Like I pick up a book, I like my, time, and I make it my change it to myself, my way in my teaching, and give credit to where credit's due. So I recommend picking up a guide pick up the guide, right? Where coaching and the stuff, I believe, is the connection and how somebody can change the words around to help people understand, right? Because sometimes you can read something and the interpretation is different than when you hear somebody else say it. And sometimes you need to hear it over and over again from different perspectives. I tried to end my life about 11 years ago. I don't know dates because dates and numbers are still hard. I have been healing my PTSD now for 60-something days. The truth is, on day 6 of this fucking ClickFunnels stupid fucking challenge, I had a breakthrough. I realized what I was really doing, and I have been scared ever since. And I know what I've done. I know when I went to the hospital the first time, see what happens? I start talking, and then the reactions in my body start to heal. Because I remember things, it comes through my body and I heal. The difference is I have never once in my entire life taken a drug. I have never taken a narcotic.
So I have been abused. For me, my vice was an eating disorder, binge eating. Because we are trying to trigger you. So what thoughts, emotions, feelings do you get from watching these videos, these images? So we're working to empower people on how to be the best version of themselves by throwing stuff back in their face that is a mirror reflection of their own life. And that's why this training is so unique.
And it's hypocritical of me to do anything else. And so yesterday I'm, falling apart and feeling again depressed and not okay. And then today I go, okay, I'm going to get enough strength to do something. But I have to realize that what I'm doing now, when I film or when I'm putting clips together and putting things together, is now my work. And that will piece together and it will come, the organization. And I building content is part of my work now. And I have to learn to let go. So that's where, and that's sometimes too, even just watching the videos versus being in a coaching program versus having somebody help you, right? That's very, very different things. So, full disclosure, this is where I got this concept from, and I'm teaching it and turn around, and this is my perspective and views on it. So this RAIN strategy, I go, okay, I like it because I myself have been diagnosed with ADD, ADHD. Full disclosure, after a lot of my own training and practice and, putting a lot of theories to test for a number of years, I'd say a lot of the diagnosis, yes, it's true that I had those things. How they are believed to come about, though, I challenge because I recognize that a lot of it's been wrong. It's uncomfortable for us so often to sit with our own thoughts. And that's why processing difficult emotions is a difficult thing, right? It is a difficult thing. And a lot of times when we're so distracted is because we don't have those coping mechanisms. In 20 years in an eating disorder, I healed it. They told me in the hospitals and in programs that I would always live with it. And I disagree. I didn't want that. Why would I want to live like that? I healed my eating disorder, and it's ironic because, you see like business people and professionals and all these new diets and intermittent fasting and different that and the studies of it and everything. You can go any direction in any way. It's whatever you want to believe. But the truth is when you go through a period where you starve yourself a little bit, you can start to remember more. And I wasn't trying to starve myself. I just felt every injustice in the world because I do feel the world's pain. Especially traditionally with trauma or PTSD and past things, we're taught to push it down. But what we found and what I found personally, the more I pushed it down, the harder it was to fake it later in real life. And then that's where the explosion of the depression, the anxiety and all that finally just was too much. So we did something completely different that's never been done. So welcome. Of telling myself I have to do these type of things in a day now. And let something else take over so that it's an organic process. I told myself when I started this that I was going to be organic and authentic, and I would do everything exactly as I need to as it comes. And I've stayed true to that. I genuinely have. And part of that was having to fall apart to learn what my body wanted, what my brain wanted. And so many times with ADD and ADHD, it's easier for our brain to go somewhere else to be distracted than it is to deal with the difficult emotions. It's a fight or flight response. Most people want to check out. And so many people aren't equipped with the tools to be able to help them so that they can stay focused. And that's a big misconception of ADD and ADHD in the first place. But that's another topic. So RAIN is a good strategy to help you cope with that. So what is RAIN? First off, recognizing what's going on. So take for the example, I myself, I struggled with a lot of social anxiety when I was in high school, but you wouldn't recognize that. I have to look back and I go, I was an exceptional chameleon. So naturally became a performer. I could perform or could do things, a natural people pleaser. And the message I received when I was 13 was I will create the world's bigger than fucking Amazon self-help program. And then a fucking pandemic happened. So for me, when everybody else is confused about what's happening in the world in this pandemic, I am not.
I have just been getting stronger every day. It had to break me down to build me back up. And I wanted it to happen because I already knew it would. I knew exactly what was happening. My head's been really clear. When I went to the hospital the first time, it was like, how do people heal? Creativity. Because my life was so bad, that little girl put herself in a safer place in her brain because she couldn't be in that type of abuse. So she became creative. And she pretended she was in a movie. And she's pretended this whole time her life was a movie because that was way easier to deal with.
And just pay attention to your own thoughts. That's all you have to do. Just be aware of your own thoughts. Document your own thoughts and feelings as much as you can in the most comfortable way you can. So if you're more comfortable writing, start writing. If you're more comfortable talking, then we do recommend you actually talk to your phone. What I needed, because that's how I would listen to the voices inside my head that gave me the next step. And that's learning how to trust your inner self, yourself. Because when you trust yourself, you can find the other people in this world you trust. It's when you've been told by the world you're not good enough, you're not worthy, you know, when you've been beat up so badly by other people and continue to be told you're not good enough and you believe them, you don't know how to trust yourself. So, however, my internal dialogue and the things I was experiencing were very different. So that brought out social anxiety. So when I was in social situations, I was actually, my response is a lot, and my drug of choice. I myself have never taken a drug in my life, but I don't judge anyone who has, because it has a lot to do with how our brain and the things that have gone on operate. So eating disorders have the same kind of effect as somebody like an addict. I understand that. My drug of choice was food. So when I'm in a situation where I felt uncomfortable, not worthy, the dialogue going in my head or whatever else, the cravings would take over. Why? Well, that's a major distraction. It's like a major distraction because it's other undeveloped things, right? Also, I get into a lot of, because I have other training and coaching that we talk about in body reflection, how specific foods, can be triggers, and it actually links to our past and our memories and different things. And sometimes we have to actually recognize them. So our cravings, they can be a lot more complex than people really recognize. So I've been preparing for that my whole life. Then when I came out, I wanted to be a fitness model. I wanted to do these things. I could never understand myself. I made so many mistakes. I needed to be in the spotlight. I needed to do things. I needed attention. I needed to look a certain way because I hated myself. I didn't love myself, and it's why I tried to kill myself. I felt like I was trapped in my marriage, trapped in a life that I hated, and I felt like that's not the type of life I want to live, nor do I feel like it's true to my soul. My soul, I truly feel, is one of the strongest souls on the whole planet. And I would have never said that before. I needed to get the strength to feel that. Because I know who I am. I'm the woman who had enough courage to stand up to everyone and say, go fuck yourselves. You created this mess. Humanity did it. Now let's fucking clean it up. And the only way we can clean it up is by doing it together. And doing something. Taking action. There's a difference between repetition of doing something to get good at it and doing something to keep yourself insane. Every day I relive the same fucking day. In a way, but I'm reliving my whole life. I didn't have a memory. Because we find that's a great way to have your own privacy and healing, but it's a great way, the more you speak, the more surface stuff actually comes out, and then you'd be surprised what you learn from yourself. However, understand that's the most intense version of this therapy, and that's why it will rapidly speed you up, but it'll also trigger traumas. And most people aren't willing to go back into their past and relive it over and over and over again. When we're saying, oh my gosh, I can't lose weight, or why am I craving this donut all the time, or I'm out of control, or whatever else. There's a lot of other things going on. So forgive yourself is the first thing. Just be aware that it's a lot more complex than you recognize. our brains are really computers that need to be reprogrammed. You have to think, we've programmed this, however old you are, right? That's this lifetime, however old you are in this lifetime. So right now, as I do this video, I'm 38 years old, right? So as I do this video right now, I'm programming for 38 years. But guess what? My brain, your brain, is a part of my parents' brain. Who's a part of their parents' brain? Is a part of their... That our brains are actually millions of years old that have been programmed for so long, right? So many people don't really recognize that. Then you have society, then you have everything else going on. So this is a very complex computer. So I don't think people really understand that. I have been that good that I've been misdiagnosed, mistreated, abused, and I had to let it all happen. How do you deal with that? I look back and go, how the fuck did I let this happen? And I go, thank God it did. Because that's actually how I feel. Every injustice. Because there is no way on the planet God would put this much inside me. I've never been angry at God. That's the truth. Never. Never once have I been angry at God. I've been confused. But I'm not anymore. All I want is my freedom. And I want the heroes to be remembered for paving the way for us to get it. But we're not done yet. And everybody that's been sitting pretty and thinking life was just what it was, I want them to see that, no, we're fighting for something much bigger now, because the world needs to heal and we've fucked it up. You're easily, all over the place, and that's where it really ties back to ADD. And that's where that ADD comes from. So it's not medication that's going to fix that. It's getting to the root cause of what caused the trauma and the issues in the first place. And most of us have something that's happened. It's a sliding scale of what that trauma is. And that's why I don't compare, because some people, they look at my life and go, holy shit, I can't imagine you going through that. But we found when you actually talk about it, you cry about it over and over again, you learn from yourself. Go back and rewatch your own videos, and you're going to start to see patterns in yourself. And then you're going to say, wow, I didn't realize I was so great at this, or I didn't realize I was still allowing this type of behavior. And you'll start to learn from yourself, and you become your own guide with the help of the coaching as well to guide you through it. So that, or those things. And there's other people who have had it, far worse, right? So it's counting that. It's like taking what we have, appreciating what we have, and paying it forward, and teaching and learning, and really understanding that, because I never saw all the things I hid all the things I went through. And those are the things I need to talk about. And it's the people in power that have been abusing their positions who are my targets, who I'm speaking up against, who I was not allowed to speak up against because they made me believe I wasn't worthy. And so I'm understanding that's my work. That's part of my job. And I'm organically working through that. And I'm stronger internally for sure every day. But some days I'm still not okay yet. But I see overall it's moving in a positive direction. So I am moving toward my goals. And that gives me comfort for sure. Be a little bit more forgiving to yourself. So Rain, recognizing what's going on. Notice the kind of thoughts that come up in a situation, right? When you're feeling anxious and anxiety, or if different emotions, right? And so many times, like food is a big thing. You're saying, why am I craving this? Right? Or I'm not on this. I started a new diet. And sometimes the diet itself is actually what triggers you into having, because you're restricted. But it's recognizing what's going on. First, identifying what you're feeling, what your thoughts are. So when I was in those situations, right, I wasn't able at the time to do it. Looking back, I can now and go, wow, right? I had massive social anxiety. I didn't feel like I belonged. So it was easier for my brain to cope, right? To go, oh, where's the food? And believe at the time, genuinely, like I was so hungry all the time that I would have to, and then I would eat these foods and then my stomach would get sick, right? I would generally be eating things. And at the time, right, I even worked through, I used to have it was hospitalized for all my food intolerances on so many levels. And I actually was able to heal those things too. So there's a lot of misconceptions with a lot of stuff, but we don't talk about that.
And the leaders have been telling us this for a long time. And now that the whole world's in the places that I felt was safe enough to come out of hiding, I'm coming out of hiding. And I'm fucking coming out swinging, man. But not in a way that will destroy any good human who's... And I believe humans all can be good. The thing is, we have to all feel our pain. I have, so why does everyone else get to live in ignorance? I spent the night in my daughter's bed fucking crying. If someone intimidates your mental state, especially for so long where you can't work, you can't function, you can't do things, that's abuse. And this has been going on for 12 years now.
But because recognizing how powerful the brain is, that's why I'm saying that. How powerful our brain is and how much of an effect it has on us. It is such a powerful thing. So being aware of our thoughts and situations is the first thing. So recognizing, right? First, number one. You want to recognize, okay, so how does your body feel right now? Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling, so just being aware, okay, in these moments, so you might not be able to in this time, right? Because as you're first learning these skills to do anything with it, you're just recognizing that that's in existence. Okay, I'm sweating, I'm anxious, I'm nervous, I'm pacing, I can't, right? Okay, just recognizing it. Again, these are things that take practice, long time. It took me years, so be patient.
Because the reality is of the situation is my daughter afraid of me. I feel betrayed by my own daughter. I've given my daughter a great life. A fantastic one. I was present. I was there. She's had a life, a childhood that I would have dreamed to have. I know, I've seen it. And I know how she's treated me, and I've witnessed what she's done and her lies and her deceit, and it's because she's hurt. She was abused and she refuses to heal.
So I'd say it's February 6th, I think. 5th, I don't know. Definitely been struggling with my mental health for sure. Allow all of those thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations to simply be as they are. Really trying to not judge that. And it's a tough thing. It really is a tough thing. You know, we're so hard on ourselves. We're so hard on ourselves. You know, to be human is to be imperfect. And we spend so much time trying to create this falsehood and of perfection. So what? So people would love us more? So we can fit in more? The only person you need to fit in with is you. First.
So instead of feeling the pain that I've been feeling, which makes you think you're insane, I chose to have courage and fucking face my past. And I got better every time. I didn't live in fake world of, let's just keep fucking putting a Band-Aid on it. I got a broken arm, let's put a Band-Aid on it. It doesn't work like that. And mental wellness, not mental illness, needs to be addressed, because the only people in the world who keep getting these fucking diagnoses of schizophrenics and this and that and the other thing have been abused.
Then you find your people. And that's for people that have big family, that's an easier concept for somebody like myself to grasp after being abused. But for a lot of people who, this is my family, this is what it is, right? That can be a hard thing to really understand, right? Because we feel the need to please so many people around us, or fit in with those people. But maybe you weren't meant to fit in. That's why you have to find your own way first, right? So sometimes when we have an unpleasant experience, our first impulse is to judge them and then try to fix and change them. Of course. But give yourself the space to be with those uncomfortable feelings without trying to change them. Feel whatever's coming up and just let them be as it is. You don't have to like or agree with what's going on. Just soften the resistance to it and allow it to arise and pass through.
So what if they were treated with respect and love? What then? So who the hell's gonna talk for these people? Who? Because nobody has. Nobody has in the way that I feel is good enough. I'm fucking disappointed with humanity. But then I see beauty. I see the people with enough courage to do something. And that gives me hope. Because that's how we get to live here. We only rented this space.
Allow it. Painful. Might be painful. I had to go through a process. It was I would equate it to almost like a 2-year detoxing process where it was pretty much pure hell, right? So I was like, a lot of people go, oh, I don't want to go through that. I myself just had a lot of trauma that it had to be cleansed out of my body. And I recognize that comes it comes with physical symptoms. When you relive trauma or bad memories or past, it actually will come with physical symptoms, with physical things. And the human brain and body and all that, right? Our brain is meant to keep us safe in survival. It's not meant to run toward pain.
We only rented it. The earth is 4.5 billion years old, something like that. Humanity will not be around forever, especially if we're a bunch of jackasses like we've been. So, inside my soul, I do feel something that is so deep. It is deeper than most. And some people, like how my creativity has come to play, I don't know, because my brain broke. I don't fit any of the diagnosis or any of the things. I'm not actually crazy where I think, oh, whatever, or I can choose to see things or I cannot choose to see things, because I am so strong I can do both.
This is when I normally don't do videos and I don't share things about my life and what's actually happening, because I post one thing and the reality sometimes is very different. I'm at the hospital right now, not for myself. This is my mom wanting to take her life, not doing well, addiction, many things. It's been tough, obviously. It's happened before. I've had things come at me and I've said, go fuck yourself. I'm like, get out, without the medication. I needed the medication to stop numbing me, but I didn't try to go off the meds. That's where I was trying to make money. I was trying to make my life better. I was trying to get the fuck out of Groundhog Day, because I was not happy with mediocrity, and I still am not. I don't want mediocrity. That's not the type of life I want to live. It's not who I am or what I am meant to be. I have more potential. My own fear scares me. Success scares me because they have told me I am not good enough, and I have allowed them to get in my head. So if you've had a painful experience, our brains generally shut down, especially at the time that it happened. But eventually it's going to come up and bite you in the butt, and you're going to have to deal with it. That's actually what, form like PTSD, but in a way, that's trauma. In a way, we all have some sort of PTSD, because we've all had something that's happened to us that our brains have shut out for some reason that comes back. So instead of being so judgmental and harsh on yourself, maybe be a little bit more forgiving and understanding, because that's maybe what your body needs to work through. Investigate your experience. With a sense of kindness, ask yourself, what is calling my attention most right now? What is calling my attention most right now?
And that's true inner demons that we all have. Mine are just worse because of the type of abuse I've had, but I am not the only one. I just have a louder voice. So I need to speak now, because the irony of all this is my suffering comes from their secrets, not mine! Their secrets! I have none! Take my life and make something of it! Inspire somebody else to get up one more time!
How am I experiencing it in my body? What is the story I am telling myself about it? And is it really true? What do I need right now? What do I honestly need right now? Most people don't spend any time thinking about these things, so how, and investigating this, so how is anything ever going to get fixed? We just expect things to be fixed, or, right? Or, we've maybe had a life where people have, if you've been blessed where, you've had a great mom and a dad and family and people have been taking care of you and you hadn't really had to worry about finances or different things, right? When life throws you a curveball, you're going to be really thrown off your game. Other people maybe that have, circumstances where they've had to kind of fend on their own. When different things come up, they go, yeah, I'm not surprised. And they can adapt quicker. Depends. It depends on what self-help work each person in those circumstances has done.
One more time! And ask yourself, if you're really addicted to something, why? I know where all my addictions have come from. I have been aware I have an addictive personality, and it's why I've never touched a narcotic. And there's no shame if you have. I'm not judging you. You did what you needed to do, but now you need to ask yourself why the fuck you need it. And I know why I need certain things, because that's a comfort, and you gotta change that. We all need an outlet. But if you weren't taught how to find a good outlet, you do fucking bad things. Stop doing bad things to yourself and look in the goddamn mirror! Look in the mirror! Because the greatest leaders in history have felt pain so deep that they deserve the riches of this world because they earned it! And I'm earning it!
Either way, it comes back to the individual being the responsible one. You. Not N for, so Rain, not N. Non-identifying with the thoughts and feelings. Not identifying with the thoughts and the feelings, not making it your identity. If you observe these thoughts and feelings for any period of time, you'll see that you're constantly, a roller coaster of emotions and ups and downs and thoughts, right? Like that's actually normal. Traditionally, women are just we're used to be right with emotion, so we just kind of go, oh, that's hormones. Well, that's not necessarily true. All right, that's just an easy excuse to pass off, right? And traditionally, men, not always, but traditionally have been more right. So, but it's a difference in thoughts that can make us really go up and down.
You're fucking right, I'm earning it more than anyone else! Because I have sacrificed my entire life! I have given up for a faith! Something so great! Something deeper inside of me that even I don't understand!
Yes, there's other factors that come into play. Well, why? Well, that's chemistry in the body and different things, but the thoughts are what can impact so many other things. But we are not our thoughts, right? That's a different thing. So if you learn how to identify your thoughts and your feelings, and without judgment, and you're going to be in a very different place, observing. So can you look at them from a different perspective? Somebody else's perspective. Can you wear somebody else's shoes and look at the situation from an outsider in? That'll change a lot. So from this perspective, try to observe and experience whatever is going on without getting caught up in it, and simply allow the space for things to pass through you.
I didn't ask for this. I don't want this. But the fact is, God has given me a gift. A gift that I used to think was a curse. And I still hate it. And it's why I make fun of it. It's why I make fun of myself. It's why I have a good sense of humor. I do have dreams of angels. They used to be dreams of devils, but in the last fucking 60 days, it's been dreams of celebrities and people that have been dead and all of that. And some would say that's them talking to me because I can take on their personality like it's nothing. Is that a personality disorder? No.
Okay. Here you are calling on an aspect of your mind that can observe what's going on as if you were watching a movie without being too involved in it. But really, how often do you watch a movie and then you become one of the characters? I myself watch movies and say, I'm going to be every character. I'm going to see if I can see from... I have a fun game with myself when I watch movies. As a mindset practice, I go, can I identify with different characters? Heck, even when there's like the killer or the beast things, I'm like, well, maybe I'll be one of those, right? What's the perspective of this and the angles and why? Okay, now I'm going to move over to the director. Now I'm going to move over to the writer. Now I'm going to move over and have a whole perspective on that. That can be way too in-depth for a lot of people. They're like, okay, you go through all that? I have a busy mind. So I had to really, really practice mindset training on a completely different level because I have such a busy mind. I had to see things from every perspective and every angle so that I could truly understand who I was, because my emotions were very difficult to deal with. So I know that going through these things can actually work, and I know it's possible for anyone because I've done it. I've been through it, so I know. And I've lived through a ton of trauma, so I know that these methods work. But it depends on you and how much work you're willing to do. So I'm going to ask you, how committed are you to yourself to learn how to deal with your own difficult emotions? How committed are you to yourself to learn how to deal with your difficult emotions? I guess that's your challenge. She's wondering what clothes to wear. She'll put on a Sometimes when we're feeling really, really crappy, like not feeling good, the best thing to do is to actually give to others. And you'd be surprised how good you can feel. So there's in Canada they have I don't know, Tim Hortons does it, but I'm sure this is around in different places. But like a pay it forward. I've had friends do it in the Tim Hortons line. I'll pay for the person in front of me, whatever it is, and like kind of a pay it forward thing. That principle is everywhere. But I'm just thinking in terms of coffee. It reminds me of Tim Hortons. And I know, I'll pay for that person's coffee in front of me. It's something simple, just making their day good, right? And then you feel good that you're giving. There's a way that, when you give to others, that really can uplift you. And the time to really do that is if we get too caught up in ourselves and we're so focused on all the bad things that have happened to us. How can we give a little bit of love? How can we spread a little bit of love without feeling like, okay, too much or uncomfortable or whatever? It's just a belief. I don't know. Nobody can understand where dreams come from or how that works. However, if I can get in my head and have proper communications with not only the living but the dead, that's fucked up. And that's something I like to admit. But where does that really come from? Because I'm not insane. I heal faster than the majority of the population. They all have the ability to do it. Every human has this ability. I am not special, nor do I think I'm special. I think I'm connected to everyone. And now that I've realized I've connected, I have just said, I know my place in this world, and I will not settle until I get there. I know I'm going to have millions of followers. I have this little book here that I'm using as a guide, and some of the things that they're saying. So simple ways to give thanks. Very simple, that can make you feel better. Send someone who's made a difference in your life a handwritten note or card. It's a very big difference. In our world, we're doing a lot of this. It would be a massive difference if you got something written, right? Somebody took the time to write you a note. You would notice that different, especially in today's modern world. Receiving a note, pretty incredible. So maybe kind of go through and write somebody a note and mail it. Just, hey, you're awesome. Thank you. You'd be surprised how good that makes you feel too. It's beautiful. Give your time to friends or family you haven't thought about recently. A lot of times our attention, right? We're so caught up in our own world that we, it's easy to get just, and it's not that we're not thinking about them because we don't care or because we don't love them. We're just so consumed with ourselves. But this time it'll be the right one because I was never chasing fame. I have an ego. Of course I do. We all do. And I needed to kick it the fuck out. I couldn't do this as a fraud. And I felt like a fraud. I felt like a fraud for a long time, so I needed to kick every single fucking last thing out of me. I needed to break myself down to zero. I needed to hit rock bottom to see who the fuck I really was. And you know what? I like her. If I didn't know what I did, I would kill myself. That's the thing. Because I hate this. I am not feeling better every day. I'm feeling worse. I'm not feeling better. I'm feeling worse. I fucking like her. So if no one else will stand up for me, I really shouldn't expect them to. Actually, even in making that comment, why should anyone stand up for me if I can't stand up for myself? Of course, I want every person that I have helped in my life to know who I am. Of course I do, because I did help them with good intentions. Do I think I'm any type of saint? Absolutely not. I've realized I'm human, and humans are imperfect. And imperfect humans make mistakes, and it's why we have to admit our mistakes in order to grow every fucking day. So the director of St. Joe's called me and basically said that I'm traumatizing the community because of the things I'm saying. So I've been the victim again. Now I'm speaking out, and that just shows how they shut people down. I'm the problem. I am desperate. They have backed me in a corner, and I'm trying to get people to understand. So if anybody's ever been traumatized by one of my videos, it's because they've had trauma in their past and that's triggered them. However, they can change the channel. I'm trying to stand up for something, for my rights, and I've been trying for months desperately. So I've done nothing wrong, and that just again shows their incompetence, that they're not able to help me, but they put me down. To say that and make me feel guilty that I'm doing something wrong when I'm only standing up for myself is exactly proves my point, that they're not on the side to help people, only hurt people. I have been so terrified of the actions I have taken in the last 2 months because they've been actions of courage. They've been actions of strength to make me look like a fucking idiot. I have prayed to God that more shit would be hacked, if anything at all. Because I don't want to have conversations with idiots anymore, frankly. And I don't care if they're fucking related to me or not. No more. No more. I want to sit around the table with people who have the same level of intelligence I do, and I've realized I'm pretty fucking smart. In the process of this, I went, you know what? I am pretty smart. However, You cannot get smarter and think you're all that without a team. I'm a team player. That's the difference. I don't stand alone as a leader. I don't want to. So if you take a stop and go, wait a minute, maybe so-and-so really needs my attention right now. How can I do that? I'll send them, some love or a quick just hello, I'm thinking of you, and make their day better. And that will make you feel good. You'd be surprised. Write out 3 things you appreciate about yourself. Write them physically. 3 things that you appreciate about yourself. Actually, better yet, write them in the comments below. Tell me 3 things that you appreciate about yourself. I want to know you. Tell me. Make gratitude a family tradition. Why not go around the dinner table saying something that you are grateful for? What a great exercise to do with your family. We get so caught up just having food on the table, how much of a difference that makes. That's pathetic. I'm not a dictator. I don't even like being a boss. I'm not going to tell you what to do, and I don't believe in that type of encouragement. I am documenting all of this because I know it's going to be public. And I've always known that. It's why when I've been so weak, I've just done things. It's why Mel Robbins says you have to do it within that 5 seconds, because that comes from your soul and your gut. And when you think about it, you think about the rules and the conformity and all the things we're supposed to be doing. None of it makes sense. Says who? By whose rules? Not when it's unjust. How lucky we really are for basic things that we've so come to take it really for granted. Slowing that down and saying thank you makes a huge difference. Take time to remember good things that happened today, however small. So it doesn't matter. Small, just a small thing. You can let me know in the comment below. A small thing that happened today, or a big one if you want, that you feel grateful for. Or just remember, oh, that was kind of cool that happened. No matter what it is, something. My dog licked me funny, right? Or made a funny face. It doesn't matter what it is. But it was funny. It made me laugh. It made me feel good. Something. What was it? Do something to show that you care. Volunteer, bake a cake for a friend, make someone's day a little bit brighter. What can you do to make somebody else's day today brighter? And the people of this country, and to be honest, America, I'm ashamed of America. I see a lot of great people in America, but you're not the land of the free. You're a joke. And it's been proven to the world now, and America is the laughing stock of the world right now. And that's ironic, because they go around thinking that they're better than the rest of the world. And they're not. And there's very few leaders in America right now that were strong enough that could do something about it. And those are the people I've tagged in every message, because I respect them. And that's exactly why I did it. And I'm sure they have thought I was a fucking whack job, and I don't give a flying fuck. Because when they know the story, I know those people will find the truth one day. Because they're the type of people that do something. What can you do? Connect with those you love by giving them a call to say thank you. Hey, just call in. Just wanted to let you know you're awesome. It's hard for some people. I find for me in my life, I've generally been in a role of a cheerleader for people most of my life. So that comes to me naturally. It just always has. I like that shirt. I like that. I compliment people very easily, but it's always genuine. That's a very, very, very thing. Don't compliment somebody to compliment them. Compliment somebody because it's genuine. Don't say you like somebody's shirt if you don't like it. Right? Find something you like. You see something. Wow, that's really cool. That makes people feel good. That doesn't make you look weak. That makes you look strong. Right? There's a lot of perceptions, or people have a hard time giving compliments. I find that very strange, but if that's not been your norm, I want you to start to try. because it does uplift you. Text or email a friend with a picture of something that has inspired you. It could be a sunset, a dog pose, something fun, happy, inspiring. Hey, this made me think of you, or this is beautiful. So something nice. So that's your challenge to do. And comment below something that you're grateful for today, however small, or something, tell me, let me know. Something that happened to you today. Yeah, something that happened to you today that you're grateful for, however small. Are you truly, truly, truly committed to yourself? And I mean really committed to yourself. Are you ready to actually take your own life seriously and be responsible for yourself? Are you saying, well, I already am? Well, great. Well, then let's challenge you and click the link below and let's do a 5-day mindset transformation journey and take you to the next level. Or you say, whoa, now I'm a little bit intimidated. I didn't know that there was a next level of this. I don't know. What is my life's purpose? Do you genuinely know your life's purpose? Maybe let's help you find out.